Hi, I'm Dr. Patty Barch, a traditional naturopath and the founder and owner of Naturally Unbridled Wellness in Onalaska, Wisconsin. So maybe you're wondering, how can you tell if your gallbladder is working, right? Everybody's wondering that. So this video is going to talk about gallbladder and what it does and what can go wrong and what you can do about it. So first of all, the gallbladder is this little sac that hangs off the liver and it holds on to bile. Bile is an emulsifier. What that means is it helps you to digest fat. So what happens when you eat fat, remember fat kind of floats, right? So when you eat fat, it's going to float on the top of your stomach. And that is going to send a message to your brain that, hey, there's fat down here. And your brain is going to go, oh, okay, so we must need some bile. And your brain's going to send a message to your gallbladder, and your gallbladder is going to go, I got this. And it's going to secrete bile into your stomach so that that fat doesn't float anymore, so that it settles into your gastric contents and it can be digested. So the gallbladder, as I mentioned, is attached to the liver. So it goes like liver, gallbladder, stomach, and then the liver's smart and it's like, hey, I can use this pathway to get rid of some other stuff. And so one of the things that the liver does is it works with hormone balance, and it helps to put together hormones into their active form, and it helps to take apart hormones that aren't needed anymore and break them down into their component molecules and excrete them, recycle what it can. So the backbone of a lot of hormones is cholesterol. And so your liver is going to break down that cholesterol and it's going to try to get rid of it. And cholesterol is a super sticky molecule. Think about the fat on a steak or anything like that, super sticky. And so what can happen is gallstones develop, which are, founded in cholesterol chunks. And they can get in the way of the gallbladder functioning properly. So they can block the pathway of the bile to get out of the gallbladder and into the stomach, or it can slow it down. But anyway, they cause problems and they can be really painful to pass. So what are some of the symptoms of having an unhappy gallbladder? So first of all, greasy foods will go right through you because if you don't emulsify that fat and it gets into your intestines in that like floaty form, not dissolved, it creates havoc and you have these massive urgent bowel movements. You might have a little bit of pain under the right rib cage, and it actually could radiate under the rib cage and toward the back. Sometimes pain typically in the right shoulder blade, right-sided headaches that kind of start at the back of the neck and come around and in like behind the eye that feel like they're gonna push your eye like right out of your head. That's the gallbladder meridian. And those right side, it can happen on the left side too, but because the meridian is on both sides, but it's more often it's right-sided headaches that kind of go to the eye, like right up there. Some other symptoms of gallbladder imbalance, lower bowel gas and bloating for several hours after eating. You could have a bitter metallic taste in your mouth, especially in the morning. If you eat fish oil and you're burping a lot of fishy flavors. Itchy skin, yellow cast to the eyes or skin. You could have light colored stool or even little yellow flecks in the stool. What else? Reddened skin, especially in the palms of your hands. Dry or flaky skin or hair. History, of course, of gallbladder issues. There are also emotions associated with the gallbladder, and the biggest emotion associated with the gallbladder is resentment. And then this is my favorite book about emotions and symptoms. It's called The Secret Language of Your Body by Inna Siegel. It's my favorite. I have a few copies hanging around the office, and it says, for gallstones, grief that has hardened, feelings of resentment, irritability, depression, disappointment about your achievement in the world, either holding back or exploding with anger, feeling wounded and trying to find someone to blame for your pain and suffering, difficulty forgiving. A good friend of mine had some serious gallbladder issues while she was going through her divorce, resentment. So when you think you might be having gallbladder issues, so let me be clear, gallbladder pain can be excruciating, and when people end up with a severe gallbladder attack, they will do anything to have that pain relieved, and it often ends up in surgery, because the medical model has no drugs to treat a gallbladder imbalance. You'll never hear anybody say, oh, I have to go fill my gallbladder prescription, or hang on, I just need to take my gallbladder pill. They don't have them. They wait until your gallbladder gets bad enough and they take it out. And so sometimes it's totally a crisis and it's an emergency situation. It absolutely has to come out. They can be infected and bad things can happen. You can get septic and die. Or it could just be slow and sludgy because you've got these gallstones kind of blocking things up. But once they take out your gallbladder, instead of having this reserve of bile that you can use when you need it, when your brain says, oh, there's fat in the stomach, you just get this constant drip, drip, drip of bile. And so if you eat a lot of fat, and some fats are super healthy and you should be eating them, you can't really digest them properly because you don't have that reserve of bile to help to emulsify them. So your fat digestion goes down, and that's really a challenging thing because the outside layer of all of your cells have fats in them. Like I said, hormones are fat. Your brain has a lot of fat and cholesterol. It means being able to digest fat. It's the vehicle for fat soluble vitamins like vitamin D to get through your body. So digesting fat is really important. So you should try to keep your gallbladder if at all possible. I had a client a few years back who was a teenage girl athlete, and she was having this awful pain and vomiting, incapacitating, doubled over, just randomly, right? And that's kind of another gallbladder thing, it's very intermittent. So she went and had all these tests done in the medical community, and they said her gallbladder was fine. Her mom was not convinced, and so she brought her to my office and we did a thermography scan, thermal imaging. We just took an infrared camera, took a picture of her torso, and we saw a gallbladder showed up white hot. So even though her HIDA scan was normal, all the tests they did at the medical side of things were normal, her gallbladder was super white hot. We put her on a gallbladder program, her symptoms disappeared. So I'm just going to highlight some of the products that we use to support gallbladder health. I can't make any claims, so I'm not going to, but I'm going to just tell you a little bit. One of my favorites is Hydrangea Intrinsic. This is an herbal blend with hydrangea at the base, and hydrangea is known by herbalists to be very supportive of gallbladder and the gallstone situation. This is Met-Phos. Met-Phos is a phosphorus-based nutritional supplement and can be very helpful for gallbladder situations. This is GB Milieu, GB for gallbladder, so homeopathic remedy for gallbladder balance. And my go-to for gallbladder cray-cray is GB40 Wand Source. So this is a digestive supporting product. It actually has some ox bile in it, so it's giving you some bile if your gallbladder isn't doing a good job getting you the bile that you need. And herbs like black radish, which is another one actually that can be really helpful for the gallbladder, specifically for the little sphincter that has to open and close. Really helpful there. Really nice. We have lots of options. That's really my point. We have lots of options in supporting gallbladder health so that hopefully you can go to the grave with all of your parts still in you, because we don't believe in spare parts here. And if you have already had your gallbladder removed, and again, that is necessary sometimes, especially if you didn't know there was a problem, some of these gallbladder supporting products, especially the GB40, can be really beneficial for you. If you want to dig deeper, Dr. Patty Barch, you can go to naturallyunbridled.com and you can set up a virtual or in-person or email appointment with me. Okay? Peace out. Have a great day.